What's up, guys? M. Jones back in the house again for a new Blu-Ray update, a July 27th Blu-Ray update. Talk about some movies that I've purchased in the past probably 2-3 weeks. I think the last video was around July 7th. So it's been about 2.5 weeks, I would say. Got some really good titles. Very excited to talk to you about it today. Got some movies from way back in the 70s up until now. So let's get started. Alphabetized as always. First one I picked up, I really wanted to see when I was like 10 years old. How I remember the date, I don't know. But I always, like I said, I always liked the bad guys in movies. I always liked the villains. I always would root for the villains. And I always thought Harry Connick Jr. was a creepy looking guy. And I just thought he was something strange about him. And I had to check this out. 1995, Copycat. And I was really displeased with it. I thought it was really silly. I don't know. Sigourney Weaver, she's some kind of doctor, I think, and she tries to figure out who the serial killer is, and it's this guy who terrorizes her, and that's Harry Connick Jr. And it was just not a very good movie. I don't know. I was very bored with it. Holly Hunter, where the hell did she go? Like 1990s. That's all she ever was in. And and Dermot Mulroney, who everyone gets confused with, Dylan McDermott, whatever. It was just an okay movie. I don't know. It had a lot of good reviews, and Rotten Tomatoes likes it. I just didn't really like it. I thought it was just boring. I'm not a big Sigourney Weaver fan. That might have been it. But very disappointed in this. I don't know. I thought it could have been a lot better. The next one, not a movie, but I had to get this. When I was a kid, I used to love WWF, WCW, ECW. And I don't know what it is. I just pulled the trigger and bought one of these. I got the ECW Unreleased 2-disc set. It's a volume 1. And I always liked ECW because the guys were so badass, and it seemed so much more real than WWF and WCW was. I remember someone telling me that it was real, and I'm like, holy shit. I was like, well, they're like killing each other. But I guess it was fake too. I mean, it had to have been. But it's just one of those... One of the things I just randomly bought. I can't believe I bought it, to be honest with you. But, it's actually pretty good. The next one I got, I've been wanting to get this, but I wanted to get it much cheaper than just paying like $29.99 or $24.99 like most new releases. So I would have bought this when it first came out because I loved it. I definitely think it was one of the better movies of this past year. But I got End of Watch. End of Watch is with Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena. They're both cops. And, they kind of chronicle their daily life through Jake Gyllenhaal's camera, showing, what they do as cops and what they go through. And it's very, palpable stuff. They show, chase scenes, and they show drug busts, and they show talking to potential suspects in certain cases. And just an absolute, just awesome movie. Very, very real, And one of the movies, man, I be honest, I cried. I just felt... I don't know, it was very powerful movie. But definitely check this out. I would have bought this right when it came out, but I wanted to wait because I just don't want to pay that much money. I got this real cheap off Amazon, and I got it new, so, I'm glad I waited. Excellent movie. The next movie, probably one of my brother's favorite movies. Definitely, it's up there for me too, especially for a sports flick. It's Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams is your very, it's a kind of movie that you just love. You watch it once a year. It's one of those movies, like one of those Forrest Gump, Shawshank Redemptions. You watch it, always have to watch it at least once a year. At least, I said. And it's just a beautiful movie with Kevin Costner and Amy Madigan. Yeah, Amy Madigan, who is in Uncle Buck's girlfriend. And they have a field, and they need to, make money and stuff like that. But he gets these voices saying about he should build a baseball field. That's his vision for what the voices are kind of telling him. So he does this, and all of a sudden, the old Chicago White Sox or Black Sox, whatever they're called, they come to play on the baseball field. And these guys are well dead. They're like 140 years old technically in that time. And it's the guys that made the bets on the game, like Shoeless Joe Jackson, who got thrown out of the baseball in that World Series that they betted on. And it's just a great movie. James Earl Jones is fantastic in it. And, this movie, the ending is still, to this day, one of the most gut-wrenching things. It's just like, when he asks his dad to have a catch, it's just, Reminds me of my dad and I used to always do that, have a catch, and man, God, the tears. Oh, God, the tears. Great movie. Really good movie. Next movie I got to, another movie I wanted to wait so I didn't have to spend $30 on or $25, but I got 5 Year Engagement. You know, I absolutely love this movie. I thought it was so funny that the girl, oh, what's her name? Alison Brie, who's an up-and-coming star, I think, from Scream 4. She played a British woman in this when she's not even British. She's actually American. And her British accent was so funny. And Emily Blunt, who is British, you know, she's so like polite British, but she's so beautiful. I just think she's so beautiful. And, you know, and Jason Segel, anything he does, Jason Segel is just, anything he does is just awesome. You know, he's such a cool guy in real life, too. I've seen his interviews. He's very patient, very kind to the interviewees. And he's just always very nice and just signs autographs. And his movies just seem like, he seems like a real guy. He seems like a buddy, you know, that everyone has. But this movie's hysterical. You know, they just have all these different reasons why they should be married, but they just seem to always have some kind of just some kind of problem where they just can't get married. But they're engaged forever, and it's a great movie, and you know I absolutely love this. I thought it was hysterical. But check it out. I think you really like it. Next one, I remember seeing this in the theater back around 2007, maybe 2008. I think 2007. But Anthony Hopkins and a younger Ryan Gosling, and I'm saying younger as in being known. He was not real famous until about this time, like right around 2008, 2009. Ryan Gosling started to get more notoriety. But he played a young lawyer that is, I think he was prosecuting the guy's name's Ted, who was Anthony Hopkins, who openly kills his wife, and he's like totally open about it, and he just still tries to find ways to see if they can get him off, something like that. And he tries to he kills his wife, but he doesn't like really like. I don't know. They have to like go through the whole prosecution, even though he admits he kills his wife. It's a crazy movie, a very good movie. Anthony Hopkins, my God, he's phenomenal. But you want to talk about a really cool movie? Check this one out. I really like this movie. It has that Primal Fear feel to it. Edward Norton, Richard Gere has that kind of feel to it. I really think you'll like this though, and you know, just genius acting by Anthony Hopkins. Awesome movie. Next one. I mean, every kid my age, you know, when we were kids, everyone saw this movie. This is a classic. You know, Robin Williams in Jumanji. You know, this is a young Kirsten Dunst also. You know, she was young in this. She was in Interview with a Vampire. And this is a young Kirsten Dunst. And this movie's great. It's only PG. I mean, kids can watch it. I remember this movie kind of put everything on the map with like animation, with having, you know, fake animals, you know, like the whole Jurassic Park and the Night at the Museum. And this movie kind of put everything on the map for that kind of, just a little bit. And this movie, I love this movie because it just, like I said, reminds me of Night at the Museum a lot, which I love. Ben Stiller, you know, I love that movie. But this movie's great, you know, and I just really think Robin Williams is just such a good actor. And you know, I really just love this. And I think I heard that Robin Williams is actually having a new show come out on CBS in the fall, which is crazy because he's a big actor, but I guess he's just trying to try TV. So I'm actually curious to see that because I think he's a great actor. But I mean, everyone my age saw this movie when we were kids. My God, it's a classic. It's so good. Check that out. I think you'll like it. Man, it's a great movie. Another movie I really loved. You know, I was a big fan of Keira Knightley when I was a little younger. You know, I always thought she was so beautiful. And I remember that was the reason I think I saw this in the theaters. But I bought Love Actually. You know, it's a good movie. It's all one of those movies that everything kind of ties together. And it's about like 12 different people that I don't think they know each other, but their lives do revolve around one another. And it just shows, you know, true love the whole time, like real love, like genuine love. And it's just a fantastic movie. And I just loved it because it was just a fun movie. I was never bored. I really liked it. So check out Love Actually if you haven't. I'm sure most of you already have. But you know, this is it's one of those movies where Hugh Grant, he still finds a way to annoy me somehow. You know, he's cool in this, like he's a good guy, but it just always annoys me because he's just so freaking British. He's just so British. Another one, man, I got a lot of slack for not liking this movie. And I love the actors. I love the late Jack Lemmon. I love the late Walter Matthau. But this movie, it was just way, way too beyond what I enjoy in cinema. The Odd Couple, and I know people think I'm crazy, but it was so slow, and I just wasn't into it. Oh, did I appreciate the actors? Yes. So I appreciate the time, of course. Was it cool to see it on Blu-ray and see these guys this long ago and have it so clear on the screen? Yeah, that was cool. That was cool to see some of the the furniture, some of the appliances, and how things have changed so much. And I like that. But the movie itself, I was just bored. I was so bored. I don't know. And I saw The Odd Couple 2, which came out like the late 90s, and I loved that. I thought that was funny. But this one, I was just so bored. So bored. I know people are probably going crazy, but I was really bored with it. The next one I want to talk about, this movie, it was real cheap at Best Buy for like a week. I had to buy it. It was originally like $20. I think I got it for like $11.99 or $12.99. But I got the Sessions with Helen Hunt and John Hawkes. John Hawkes was in The Perfect Storm and Hardball, and he's a really good actor. He was also, I think, Kenny's brother in Eastbound and Down, which was with Danny McBride. So John Hawkes, he plays a guy who I think suffered from polio. He's been paralyzed like his whole life, and he is like a poet and journalist. His name is Mark in it, and he wants to like have a kid, but obviously he's never lost his virginity, so that's one thing he wants to do. So Helen Hunt's like a sex therapist and stuff like that. Well, this movie was fantastic. It was I think John Hawkes was nominated for like Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor in this, and it's just a wonderful movie. It really is a good movie, and I couldn't believe how much nudity was in this movie too. I was very surprised. Helen Hunt, you must have got paid for this movie, but outstanding movie. Got to check it out. It's a very good movie. All right, the next one. Speaking of nudity, my God, Spring Breakers. Huh. Tell you what, not a movie you watch with your girlfriend. Okay, that's my tip to all men that watch this movie. Watch it with your buddies so you won't get in trouble at all. Because trust me, I got in trouble in the first half of this movie because my girlfriend Mason was like, "Okay, that's enough tits. I've seen enough tits." I'm like, yeah, I've seen enough tits too. And, that's not a movie to watch with your girlfriend. Trust me. But this movie was really weird, slow in the beginning, and then it picked up. Harmony Korine was the director. He's a lunatic. But he has some kind of somewhat crazy cocaine-esque, cocaine-induced like charisma as a director. I don't know. But the movie, second half-wise, awesome. The second half of this movie I loved. First half, it was really slow and confusing and strange. And Selena Gomez, again, another one of those pop singers, R&B singers that act. Do not act. You suck. You're awful. I did not like her in this movie at all. And I thought Vanessa Hudgens was all right in this, but she's another one. She sings and she acts. It's like, oh God, stop it. But James Franco played Alien. I love how he said his name. That's how he said his name. And he played this crazy drug dealer guy or whatever, bought drugs, and he just had all this money and stuff, and he was just against the law and just defied everything, and he actually was a good guy in the end. But I was so confused in the beginning, but then the second half just kicked ass. So check this out, and do not watch it with your girlfriend. You'll thank me later. And the next one, another one I had to wait because I don't want to spend a lot of money on it. I got it real cheap for like $10 off Amazon. I got Ted. What, man, what a classic movie. I just love this movie. Mark Wahlberg, as cool as he is, he just got even cooler. I just love seeing him as just a very lax kind of guy, playing everything aloof, doesn't give a shit. So even smoked pot. I was surprised by that. He took a role like that. And Seth MacFarlane was in it as the voice of Ted, his childhood toy that he got, childhood stuffed animal, teddy bear. And they just grew up together, and he could talk, and it's just a great movie. And I love Mila Kunis. My God, everyone does. She plays Mark Wahlberg's girlfriend in the movie. That basically says it's either us together forever or it's no Ted. And he had to kind of decide about it, and Ted's just as crazy. He drinks and he smokes. It's a freaking teddy bear. It's like, oh my God. And one of the funniest parts in this movie is when Ted the bear and this girl are hooking up, and he doesn't have like any like male organs, but he's like doing it with her. I'm like, how is that possible? And he has the little tag that's on, like most teddy bears have like a little tag, and he's like, he goes, oh my god, put your fingers through my tag, and it's like so funny, and it's just genius writing. And Seth MacFarlane, man, he gets a lot of slack for being just brutal and being like a Trey Parker kind of guy. But you know what? You keep it up because you're hysterical. I love Seth MacFarlane. He always throws people under the bus on Family Guy, and it's funny. It's genius. So I like what he's doing. I like what he's doing. But a great movie. Came out in 2012. Summer of 2012. And I never liked doing this, but I did buy a DVD. It's the last one I'm going to talk about today. I bought this from a friend who said, if you like Gary Busey, I love Gary Busey movies. I don't know, he's just a high, intense, intimidating kind of guy. I did get to meet him at Monster Mania about 3 years ago. He was pretty cool. He's crazy, though. He's absolutely nuts. But I really do like his films. And someone said, you got to check out a movie called Surviving the Game. 1994, it's with Ice-T, who is right here at the trigger. And there's Gary Busey there. And there's a guy with the glasses on named Rutger Hauer. He's from like the Netherlands. And Charles S. Dutton's in it, who is the janitor guy from Rudy. And, you know, what's his name? John C. McGinley, who's in Scrubs and the movie Nothing to Lose. He's in that. It was a really actually good movie. I was shocked about it. Ice-T's a homeless guy. Down on his luck, obviously he's homeless. And he gets recruited by Charles S. Dutton to go meet this guy named Thomas Burns, who is Rutger Hauer, that we have a job for you, and if you want to get a job. And he's like, well, what's the job? He goes, well, we're hunters. We need someone to take us out to the hunt. You know, you got to have a lot of endurance, and we want you to be able to, you know, stay with us, hang with us. And it all is just a setup because all these wealthy businessmen, they go out for a weekend and just hunt a person that they recruit. This one was being Ice-T. Ice-T was recruited to be the hunted. It was a crazy movie, a really cool idea. Really, I liked how, you know, it's a very novel approach to this style of movie. I've never seen a movie like this. It was obviously a low budget movie because just the music was awkward. Like some of the filming wasn't the best. Cinematography lacked a little bit, but I just thought this was a great movie. I actually liked it. I really thought it was good. I was hoping for Ice-T. You know, he brought me in like he was just a nice guy. His name was Mason. He was down on his luck. His wife and his son was killed, so like he became homeless somehow. Like you learn more about him. You actually learn he's not worthless. He's not like just a drunk. He just really had a shitty hand, you know, dealt to him. But you know, Gary Busey's in it too, and like I said, and he was good in it too. And I just really like this movie. I really think you should check it out. And I also saw one of the actors in it. His real name is F. Murray Abraham, and you're probably like, who the shit is that? Well, F. Murray Abraham was that Omar Suarez from Scarface back in like 1983. That really cool character, Omar Suarez. So he's in this movie. He plays something, I think his last name's Wolf, and he's like Wolf Sr. because his son's with him also on the hunt. And so I was cool to see him again because I saw him like, I've seen this guy. Where have I seen this guy? I love Scarface, one of my favorites. So that was cool to see him. But this movie came out in 1994, and I now just heard about it like maybe like half a year ago. So it's definitely an interesting movie, but I really think you'll like it. I think it's actually a great movie. But anyway, that's my July 7th Blu-ray update and DVD update. And I'm really pleased to be able to view these movies and talk to you about them. But again, leave comments. If you have any suggestions, please leave them too. Any movies you think I should check out. And I hope I gave you some movies for you to check out as well. But keep watching, subscribing, and I will see you next time. So take it easy and bye.